Hello, I'm Panos Kotzathanasis and this is Asian Movie Pulse Interviews. Today I'm here with Amjad Al Rasheed, who's filming Inshallah, a Boy, currently screening at Thessaloniki International Film Festival. So tell me a bit, there is a number of companies from a number of countries involved in the production. Can you tell me a bit about this story there?
So basically, this film is an independent movie. It's a co-production. The main production is Jordan. It's a Jordanian movie with the co-production with Saudi Arabia, Qatar, France, and Egypt.
Oh, okay. So I guess was difficult to come from having a story to making a film?
Oh, it's difficult, definitely. It's not an easy task, but I feel like reflecting back on it now, it's the normal cycle for for this type of movie. Independent art house movie that talking about social topic. I feel this is how it is.
Yeah, I understand. Okay, the film is criticizing a particular aspect of Jordan, say this law. But were you afraid of if you have some backlash from showing it so realistically? Say?
Well, I can tell you it's not an easy task to touch on such sensitive topics. Some people might find it taboo, but. Of course, I thought about it a lot, and along with my producer Roland Nasser, Asil Abu Ayash, co-writer Delphine Agut, we tried to tackle all these topics in a sensitive manner, where we capture the reality and make people live what the main character is living. I also tried to put all the characters in a gray zone where I can raise moral questions. The idea is to raise questions at the end of the day, and I hope we will not get a backlash. I hope we will open a conversation where things can be discussed and reevaluate what has been normalized on us from culture, traditions, laws, and think, is it fitting to what we're living in a modern society now in Jordan and in the Arab world and in the world in general.
Mm-hmm. But did you expect the success, like you're all around the world festivals, submission to Oscars by Jordan?
Well, it's a big question. I always had faith in what I'm doing, and I always had. It's a dream that I was pursuing since a very young age. I expected something new, especially while I was shooting or developing it. I knew that I am doing a very important story. I'm doing a very touching story, a human story that I hope people will like and connect with. But the type of success, it never crossed my mind, to be honest. And it's more than I expected.
Mm-hmm. So you're happy or overwhelmed?
I'm overwhelmed. I'm overwhelmed.
Okay. And why did you decide to focus on a specific law, let's say?
Well, because we are all human beings living in a society. Unless we are, I keep saying this many times, unless we are all free, none of us is free. So maybe it's a very specific law in my country or in the Arab world, but it's echoing other laws around the world, and it's echoing how we are human beings, how we are interacting with each other. It's a very important topic for me, and it's a very personal topic for me. Especially also, it's inspired by a close relative of mine who was almost in the same situation. All of these things made me feel like, oh, this is the type of movies that I want to do, and these are the stories that I want to tell. Stories that is related socially to what I believe in.
But if this case was happening in reality, okay, you say it's based on an actual story, but the brother-in-law actually had a chance of winning, taking the house and the daughter for himself. There was like this possibility.
Of course. Oh, and it happened. Of course, I did like. There are a lot of cases that I had to meet to do research for the film itself, and yes, it happened. It's something like not. It's not something that I invented. Many of the dialogues in the film, it's based on dialogues I heard or dialogues that happened. Yeah, it could happen. Unfortunately, yes. And it happened.
Okay. But you said a lot of gray areas in the film, but the brother-in-law is the villain, right? Okay, he's poor, but you cannot...
Definitely yes, but he's a victim too. The men in the film are victims too, because this is how the society expects them to act, first of all. Society itself pushes you to act that way. And you understand him, why he's doing that, financially and economically. This is a way of survival for him. So, but the question, and the important question, even if you have a law supporting you to do that, would you do it or not? So these are kind of moral questions that I'm trying to raise through such a character. For me, all of them are victims. Nawal is the biggest, but Nawal did not act as a victim, and that was very important for me throughout the research I did. And from women around me in Jordan, most of them, if not all of them, they are fighters, and I want to portray Nawal to be a fighter. Same with Rifki, the brother-in-law. I didn't want to show him as a total villain with no motivation, with no. It become like a cheesy kind of portrait of a villain. You know, it's not realistic. I wanted a realistic villain, that someone who is in need for this. It's a chance for him, and he's using a chance that is the law supporting it. So he's not like stealing from her at the end of the day. And again, it's raising different kind of questions.
And what about your brother? Because for me, this is the most ambiguous figure in the film. In the end, I couldn't say if he's helping her or he's a problem for her, you know?
He's definitely become a problem for her. And when we wrote this character, at first, we built this character in a way where you think at the beginning that he's the potential ally. He's the one who's gonna support her as a brother. But throughout the story, and because again he's under a pressure of a society who's asking him to act that way, and if he does not, he's not man enough. So it's kind of bullying. Okay, he goes to a place where he's more into the antagonist area, and this is how I felt that this is the more realistic way to present such a character.
So essentially, it's like bullying is actually permitted by law, the way the whole thing goes. It's like I felt like that at some point. You know? You are expected to bully women, let's say, something like that.
No, I meant like again, because we are living in a male-dominant society. There are certain traits and for men, how they should act, especially with women. So if you don't act that certain way, you will get bullied from the society who will tell you you're not a man, or you're not man enough to control your woman, for example, as simple as that. This is the kind of belief that I'm talking about.
So can you flirt? Like, can you flirt in like you see someone you don't know, let's say in a cafe, can you speak to her? Let's say,
Well,
would it be
it's
difficult?
not flirting, it's harassment.
So it's harassment. Yeah.
Yeah, you get it's not flirting anymore when someone sees some woman and they say something in the street in a bad way. It's harassment.
Yeah. Okay, but I didn't mean it that way. But okay, I understand what you mean. And you actually show that in the movie, right? Like she walks on the street, and even young boys
Yes.
are telling
Yes.
awful things.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, okay, and tell me a bit about the main character. How do you feel about her? How would you describe?
The main character. The main character, Nawal. She's a fighter. She's a strong woman. She's a smart woman who discovered herself throughout the journey of the film. When she was in a position where she has to fight for her rights in her own house and the rights of raising her daughter. So she discovers herself throughout this journey.
And there is this part with her colleague who flirts with her really openly. But did you consider at some point having her actually going with him? Because she tries, but in the end she decides not to. But did you think of moving the story to that path, let's say?
Actually, I built this story on a question: what are her options? And one of the options is going with another man and continue or start a new life. But is it a good option for her? So that I don't want to talk a lot about what's happening,
Okay,
but this is like it was one of the options. Yeah.
Okay. And can you tell me a bit about the casting? How did it work for the movie?
Casting, I took my time with casting, almost 2 years to choose the cast, and I did that because I do the casting in a different way. I think in a different way. It's not only about talent for me, it's about the character of the actor. I take my time to understand the actors, all of them, as a characters, as a human beings. I study their body language also, and how they look, how they move, how they sit, how they stand up, and these help me to understand them and gave me keys to motivate them on set. Understanding them as a human being, their point of view in life, in general, and their physique. It was very important to me, same as finding a good talent. So it took me some time to decide on all the cast.
Who was the most difficult to cast? Was the protagonist or someone else?
The little girl.
The little girl.
And the neighbor. It took me.
The neighbor.
Yeah. The neighbor. Like I think the last one I looked was the neighbor.
Okay. Yeah. And about cinematography, what you wanted to do in the visual aspect of the film?
In the visual aspect, first of all, I worked with a great cinematographer, Kaname Onayama from Japan, who the collaboration with him was really, really beautiful. He's a very sensitive guy, and what I wanted to achieve with him, a realistic tone, something close to a more documentary style, where I can put the audience in Nawal's shoes. I want them to feel for her, and this feeling is not only from what she's going through, it's coming also from asking themselves or feeling also that this could happen to me when they watch the movie. So that was achieved through also certain choices I did with the cinematography, with the framing, with the camera movement, and I wanted also this claustrophobic feel that to reflect how this woman is feeling and what she's going through. So yeah, what's happening? Yeah.
Sorry. Okay, and has the film played in Jordan or not yet?
Not yet.
You have plans to do so?
It will be released next year, and we first needed to do an Arab world premiere, which was announced
Red Sea, right?
yes, 2 days ago. It will be in the Red Sea in Saudi Arabia, in Jeddah. So I'm looking forward to the Arab premiere, and after that it will be released in Jordan and in the Arab world.
Okay. And can you tell me a bit about the situation with the Jordan movie industry? If there is an industry or
oh well, it's a young industry. If you want me to be very precise with it, it's a movement. It's started with the establishment of the Royal Film Commission 20 years ago, but I feel it's a very strong one. Every couple of years we have 2 to 3 films where we present our stories. So as the filmmakers, we are more focused on the quality, not the quantity, because anyway we can't afford the quantity. It's not we don't have big investors who are investing in films, or a big market where the revenue of a film can make us do another one. So we're focusing on topics. Plus, we have very strong crew that is very professional. Each one of them is a storyteller in their own department, and we have a lot of foreign films that have been shot in Jordan, big Hollywood movies, independent European movies. So the crew is always working and gaining more and more experience, which is very good for us. And once there is a Jordanian movie, you feel like everybody wants to work on it with passion, which gives the whole making a movie a different level of passion, love, and you feel it on set while shooting, while preparing, and even after that, while releasing the film, like you feel everybody is so excited for it.
Yeah, but there are a lot of screening rooms, cinemas in Jordan now?
Not a lot, unfortunately.
No. So people don't go that much to cinema yet, or?
In the 90s, I remember when I used to go to the movies, it was almost always full. Now with the economic problems that's hitting all around the world, I think going to a movie, it's costly. And people have priorities, like feeding their children is more important than going to watch a film, unfortunately. It's not only, you can't blame only the audience, you need to figure out what the core of the problem, which is mainly economic.
Okay. And the last question, I guess, future projects?
I'm currently working on a new project. It's in early stages of development. It's a social thriller about a family drama, let's say, and secrets.
Okay. Well, great. I guess that's it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I hope you get an Oscar this year.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.